What happens when a princess walks out of one of the most sacred ceremonies in an entire principality? The cameras captured everything, the whispers started immediately, and the world wanted answers. Princess Charlene of Monaco, a woman who has faced more scrutiny than almost any other royal in modern times, found herself once again at the center of international attention when she departed from the pontifical mass celebrating Saint Devota, Monaco's beloved patron saint, on January 27, 2024. This wasn't just any religious service. This was the spiritual heartbeat of Monaco, a tradition that dates back centuries, and her exit sent shockwaves through the tiny Mediterranean nation and beyond. Before we dive deeper into what happened that day and why it matters, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss our royal coverage, and drop a comment below telling us what you think really happened. Share this video with anyone who follows royal news because this story has layers that most people aren't talking about. Saint Devota holds a special place in Monaco's identity. Every January 27th, the principality comes alive with celebrations honoring their patron saint, a young Christian martyr from Corsica whose legend is woven into the very fabric of Monegasque culture. The story goes that Devota was tortured and killed for her faith in the 4th century, and when her body was placed in a boat, a dove emerged from her mouth and guided the vessel to Monaco, where she would be laid to rest. For over 1500 years, the people of Monaco have celebrated her feast day with deep reverence, and the royal family has always been at the absolute center of these commemorations. The pontifical mass is not some optional appearance on the royal calendar, it is essentially mandatory, a moment when the Grimaldi family demonstrates their connection to their people and their faith. So when Princess Charlene left the church before the ceremony concluded, it wasn't just noticed, it became an instant talking point. Royal protocol dictates that members of the family remain for the entire service, especially during such a significant national celebration. Her departure, captured by photographers and witnesses, immediately sparked questions. Was she ill? Was there a family emergency? Or was something else entirely going on beneath the surface of what appeared to be a carefully orchestrated public appearance? Understanding why this moment carries so much weight requires understanding Charlene herself, a woman whose journey to royalty has been anything but a fairy tale. Born Charlene Whitstock in Zimbabwe and raised in South Africa, she was an Olympic swimmer who represented her country at the 2000 Sydney Games. She met Prince Albert at a swimming competition in Monaco in 2000, and their relationship developed over the following years, though it remained relatively private until their engagement was announced in 2010. Their wedding in 2011 was supposed to be a joyous celebration, but rumors swirled even then about the bride's apparent unhappiness, with reports suggesting she had attempted to leave Monaco multiple times before the ceremony. Since becoming Princess of Monaco, Charlene has struggled with the intense pressure of royal life in ways that have been painfully visible to the public. In 2021, she spent months in South Africa recovering from a severe ear, nose, and throat infection that required multiple surgeries and prevented her from flying. When she finally returned to Monaco, she was almost immediately admitted to a treatment facility outside the principality, where she spent months recovering from what the palace described as exhaustion, both emotional and physical. The separation from her husband, Prince Albert, and their twins, Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella, was heartbreaking for everyone watching, and it raised serious questions about her well-being and her place within the rigid structure of royal expectations. Throughout these challenges, Charlene has faced relentless media speculation about the state of her marriage, her mental health, and her commitment to her role as First Lady of Monaco. Every public appearance is scrutinized, every photograph analyzed for clues about her emotional state, every absence noted and dissected by royal commentators around the world. She has been compared unfavorably to Princess Grace, the legendary American actress who became Princess of Monaco and whose elegance and glamour set an impossibly high standard. Charlene has often appeared uncomfortable in formal settings, her body language suggesting someone who would rather be anywhere else, and her fashion choices, while often stunning, sometimes seem to reflect a woman trying to find her own identity within a role that demands conformity. Against this backdrop, her exit from the Saint Devota Mass takes on additional significance. Was this a moment of personal crisis, a woman who simply could not endure another minute of the performance that royal life demands? Was it a health issue, perhaps a sudden onset of anxiety or a physical problem that required immediate attention? Or was it something more calculated, a subtle act of rebellion from a woman who has been trapped in a gilded cage for over a decade? The palace offered no immediate explanation, which only fueled the speculation and allowed the story to grow in the absence of official clarification. What makes this incident particularly intriguing is the timing. January 2024 found Monaco entering a new chapter, with Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella growing older and taking on more public roles, and with Prince Albert continuing his environmental advocacy work on the world stage. The family had appeared together at various events throughout late 2023 and early 2024, presenting what seemed to be a united front after years of difficulty. Charlene herself had seemed more present, more engaged, participating in official duties with what observers described as renewed energy. Some royal watchers believed she had finally found her footing, that the worst was behind her and she was settling into her role with greater confidence and peace. But her departure from the mass suggested that perhaps the struggles were far from over, that the weight of expectation and tradition remained crushing, and that the princess who never quite fit the mold was still fighting an internal battle that played out on the very public stage of royal life. The symbolism of walking away from a celebration of a saint, a young woman who faced her own persecution and remained steadfast in her faith, was not lost on those analyzing every aspect of the incident. In the days following the event, social media exploded with theories, with some defending Charlene and expressing concern for her well-being while others criticized what they saw as a breach of duty and disrespect to Monegasque traditions. The incident reignited debates about the modern relevance of monarchy, the toll it takes on individuals who marry into these ancient institutions, and whether someone like Charlene, who came from a world of athletic competition and personal achievement, could ever truly adapt to a life where every moment is choreographed and every appearance carries the weight of centuries of expectation. Royal experts pointed out that this was not the first time a princess had struggled with the demands of royal life, citing examples from other European monarchies where women who married into royalty found themselves isolated, depressed, and unable to meet the impossible standards set for them. The story of Princess Diana remains the most famous cautionary tale, but there have been others, women who discovered too late that the crown is far heavier than it appears and that the price of privilege is often paid in personal freedom and mental health. What happened to Princess Charlene on January 27, 2024, at the pontifical mass for Saint Devota may never be fully explained, at least not by the palace, which operates under a code of discretion that values image over transparency. But the incident serves as a powerful reminder that behind the tiaras and the ceremonies, behind the carefully staged photographs and the official statements, there are real human beings struggling with challenges that most of us can barely imagine. Charlene of Monaco, the Olympic swimmer who became a princess, continues to navigate waters far more treacherous than any pool she ever competed in, and her journey, with all its difficulties and mysteries, continues to captivate anyone who understands that sometimes the most difficult race is simply making it through another day. So here's the question I want you to think about and share your thoughts on in the comments. Can someone who was never born into royalty ever truly find happiness within its constraints, or is the gulf between these two worlds simply too vast to bridge?